I'm Robert Hoffman. I work here at Any Length Retreat. I'm the Director of Operations. I started here just under 2 years ago, following a stay in rehab. Moved out into sober living, and my sponsor got me the job here. How I got there was well, it starts when I was 14 years old. That's when my story with addiction begins. And I started smoking pot. Basically, I was just, unhappy. I hated going to school. I did well in school, I just hated it. I felt like I was just wasting my time. I wanted to do things that I enjoyed. And so a few buddies, had some weed, started smoking with them. And from there, it just became like a downward spiral. I would skip school every day, smoke weed, not care about anything really. My parents were going through some stuff. They got a divorce and everything, and I think that really impacted, my desire to keep smoking because it just made me not care. Things progress, move on down the line. When I'm 18, my girlfriend gets pregnant, and I wanted to be ready. I really did, but I wasn't, and there was no way I could get myself ready. And I tried doing everything I could do. I had an overnight job, was going to school, and trying to adjust to being a father. It was too much. So I ended up dropping out of school. I performed so poorly at the job that I got let go. I would constantly go to friends' houses. I'd try to be anywhere but home. And eventually that led to me drinking. It started with, I'm drinking, 2 Mike's Harder lemonades a night, and eventually it moves into drinking a liter of whiskey a day. I'd black out constantly. It was really bad. Sometimes, I'd be waking up in my own urine, That went on for, 4 years straight, just drinking a liter of whiskey. I even would drink at work. I had a 750 I'd keep in my locker, and I'd just pour it in my Coke and work my shift. At that point, I moved on I moved into methamphetamine. And the reason why I fell in love with meth at that point was because it allowed me to stop drinking. It allowed me to stop smoking. I was like, this is it. I can finally perform. I can get everything I need to done. I'm showing up as a father. I'm showing up as a good employee now. But that didn't last very long. Within 6 months, I was injecting intravenously. And that was great for a while, so it seemed. And then I started to lose my mind. I left my job because of anxiety issues. So I started Ubering full-time to pay for my habit. Well, not driving people around, but doing deliveries. I couldn't handle being around other people so much. And that continued on for a while. 2 years of shooting up before I got sober. So what ended up happening there was I had a second child on the way. And when my girlfriend went into labor, she was using with me. She tested positive for amphetamines. And that opened a CPS case. And my son tested positive for amphetamines too. As much as I wanted to stop, at that point, there was no stop. I just kept, I was in the bathroom at the hospital shooting up. And then a social worker came, of course they drug tested me and I failed. And that case went on for a lot longer than it needed to, but eventually they provided me with the opportunity to go to treatment. At that point, after that stay in rehab, that's how I ended up working here at Any Length Retreat, helping others going through the same thing that I went through, using my experience to help them, battle their addiction and hopefully find recovery for life like myself. I deeply regret a lot of my actions, and how that took my relationship from my kids. And to this day, still, the relationship isn't what it should be. And, I long for that. I long for the opportunity to do it over again. but I just have to take it, one day at a time. Each day work on strengthening that relationship, and it can be hard. It really can. The biggest struggle for me was not being satisfied with where I was in life. And so I'm always worried about the future. I want to be, over here when really I'm here, and there's no way for me to just jump from here to there. That would crush my spirit every day. And it was a big reason why I continued using, so I could avoid that misery of knowing, where I am. But that was the very thing that kept me down and kept me from growing. I suddenly, I went from I couldn't, stand working 8 hours a day to now I love working 12 plus hours a day. I just want to be as productive as I can. And I'm satisfied with that. And that was the biggest problem. And that's what drugs helped me with, was, finding temporary satisfaction. And now I have lasting satisfaction. Everybody has their own unique struggles, and at any length, we address that with each individual. The process of working these steps illuminates all the individual problems, and then allows them to solely focus on, addressing those problems. It allows everybody to be helped versus, this one solid curriculum that can only help a certain few when other people are completely different. It's similar, what you see at other treatment centers is similar to what you'll see in schools. It's a one-size-fits-all attempt, whereas Any Length addresses the problems individually and allows them to work on their problems and battle their demons, so to speak. They begin to see everything that they are able to change. They are able to have these defects of character removed from them. Honestly, I haven't encountered another treatment center that takes guys through the work how Any Length does. I didn't go to Any Length for my treatment center, but I met a sponsor who worked here, and that sponsor is the one who guided me through the steps and showed me the new way of life. The treatment center I went to actually didn't show me that, but it did place me in the opportunity to receive that. And this is the program that works. There's no way anything else would have been able to pull me from the rut I was in.
So I wanted to create a brotherhood, a culture, a community, not only that I can thrive in, but others can too. And we've been able to do that.